Bhutan, a tiny constitutional monarchy between India and China, is deeply rooted in culture and globally known for its policy of gross national happiness or GNH. This South Asian country measures national progress with the well being of its citizens and not just economic growth. Bhutan prepares a happiness index which looks at the overall quality of life of its citizens once in every 2 years. The economic model of this Buddhist nation is unique because it leaves no room for human greed.
Our king, when he was young, he was worried that when the ultimate goal of every human being is to be happy and well, would these conventional models like GDP or GNP bring happiness to people? And he realized there was no limit in the kind of production that was happening on earth and destroying everything, almost everything. And he said, this couldn't be the right model for me in Bhutan. So that was the reason why he propounded on gross national happiness as more important than gross national product. What do we need actually as human beings? We need very few things, For the body, we need some nourishing food. We need a few changes of clothes to take you from one season to another. Few changes, and a shelter. More than that, we don't require. So why are we chasing for more and more and more?
The policy of gross national happiness is rooted in the belief that Western economic models are destructive, not only to culture and environment, but also to human development and values.
We are made into very egoist human beings, which brings us competition, shrewdness, and there is no we anymore. It's I and I and I. And all we do is, the education helps us to just, chase for more and more and for bigger and bigger things. And that way, the industries, factories, and corporations take advantage of human greed and desire. We feel that it's very important to make a human being understand what is the basic purpose of life. And that's what GNH tries to embed in. There is a big difference between the Western economic models, or growth so-called, and the Bhutanese GNH, or gross national happiness. If a country in the West buys arms and ammunition, that's added to fight another country, that's added to GDP or GNP, Think about that. It's total destruction. Our country is totally green. We are almost 80% forested. If we cut tomorrow all the trees and sell it to other world, our GDP will really grow very high. But what about the ecology? What about the biodiversity? The West doesn't see into this. Recently, when I was traveling to London, as we took off, there was an announcement from the cockpit. It said, if you donate £1, you'll feed a very hungry child in the most disadvantaged or most poverty-stricken place in UK. I cried. I thought, UK, that once was where we read in history that the sun never set, is so poor today. And I thought about their wealth. Even Bhutan, I thought we couldn't be even compared in 1,000 in terms of wealth. But look at this. Our children in Bhutan don't go hungry. I think the world is in search of a different paradigm, a development paradigm. And in lack of such a paradigm, they're looking towards GNH as an alternative model. Because the Western model is totally dependent on limitless growth. There is no threshold for so-called development or growth. And that needs to be defined. And because there is, so much production, it's not because human beings desire for or want. It's because, the industries want to make money.
The idea behind gross national happiness sounds like a spiritual approach to economics, which it is. It appears to be based on what a British economic thinker, E.F. Schumacher, described as Buddhist economics in 1968. Schumacher said Buddhist economics is a middle way between a purely mundane society and an immobile conventional society. It's based on principles found in the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path, such as right livelihood, which is ethical career choice, interdependence of people and things, and compassion for all. Schumacher said Western economic models are based on self interest and desire for maximizing profit and saturating the market. But Buddhist economics is driven by compassion and follows the Buddhist mandate to minimize suffering.
The right livelihood and GNH are very related. Just to give you some information, Schumacher College actually has started the right livelihood degree for master students. And presently in Bhutan, we have 26 students also undergoing one of the modules in GNH. It's very related, very highly correlated. We're talking about integrating ourselves with nature, understanding the nature, being a part of the nature rather than we human beings have pretended for too long, in fact, that we are above the nature. Without interconnectedness, there's no GNH, in fact. The West actually suffers because they have taken that interconnectedness is individual based. But for us, everything, is so much interconnected. Even we talk about, if you take out something out of either human beings, we talk about 5 elements that build us. If you take out all the water, the human body is no more there. If there was no interconnectedness, there would be no existence, in fact. The Western concept is totally greed and desire. It's to be somebody. It takes you to the wings of ego. But in our case, it's all compassion. The GNH is based on compassion, kindness, sharing, caring, serving others, which doesn't necessarily happen in the West.
Gross national happiness is a Buddhist idea, but Bhutan seeks to export it to the rest of the world through its international public relations efforts. Many nations across the world, including Canada, Britain, France, and Japan, have shown interest in this economic model. In 2011, the UN General Assembly unanimously adopted a resolution sponsored by Bhutan to recognize happiness as a basic human goal. But can nations that are not Buddhist adopt GNH?
What is Buddhism? It's not a religion. Buddhism is a way of life. Actually, Buddhism, to be defined, is just understanding the mind, a human mind. That's Buddhism. Today, people have related Buddhism into a religion, which is not true. Buddhism per se is a way of life, living life, So therefore, living life is a universal value. So, it is directly connected with Buddhism, but we don't deny that it's not it's away from Buddhism, but we are also saying that it's universal value.